Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig, Mad River Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and welcome back. You know, it was a little while ago, but we were lucky enough to head down to Florida and spend some time with our friend, our mentor, our spiritual leader here at Mad River Outfitters, Mr. Pallot. And we spent some time hanging out, talking about fly casting. We reminisced about, you know, all the things we've done over the years. We got to go out in his airboat, did some fishing on the St. Johns River. But one of the highlights of the trip was we pulled the airboat over in kind of a picnic area along the St. Johns River. We had a little bit of lunch, and Flip and I sat around a picnic table, and he absolutely schooled us on really a variety of different topics. He talked a little bit about his fly line. He talked about why he hates these things and why he instantly cuts the loop off of any fly line. And then he proceeded to school us on kind of a new concept on building leaders and how he goes about it. As always, anytime we spend time with this man, this living legend in the world of angling, we come away smarter, better, faster, stronger. Well, maybe not faster and stronger, but anyways, we'll let Flip take it away.
Action. God, I love it when he says action.
All right, Flip, I've got my new Cortland High Vis Flip, brand new out of the box, 6-weight, specifically brought it down here for us to rig up for fishing here on the St. Johns River. So tell me how we're gonna go about this. You've kind of...
Well, I do want to introduce you to a leader system that I think you're gonna be fascinated with. So
cool.
We start off, you know, this whole process by cutting this loop off. No. I got this. Look at this. Boom.
Cut. Oh.
Yeah, loop, out of here. Get it out of here. Get it away from me. No loop.
Evil.
I'm going to explain to you why that loop is evil. The loop is just the fly line doubled and then welded. So the loop creates two things that are evil. It creates a stiff spot in the end of the line, and it creates weight. It creates a heavy part of the line because it's doubled.
Well, you've got this scientifically designed tapered, and all of a sudden you have this fat part at the end. It makes no sense.
And it's made even stiffer and more evil by a leader, which you now loop to loop through here. So the stiff spot and the extra weight now continues this far into the butt section of the leader. So we have designed in the front of this fly line a front taper which diminishes toward the connection with the butt section. And the purpose of that is to bleed off the energy of the loop, which comes through the fattest part of the fly line, the head, and generates tremendous speed and energy heading toward the connection with the butt section. So as this loop unrolls this way and reaches that loop, it unrolls, and because of the extra weight and stiffness, it catapults down. Or if you're casting 3/4 arm, it catapults this way. If you're casting sidearm, it catapults this way. It can't help it, it's weight. And the energy throws that weight, and it interrupts the unrolling of the leader. The fly line has already unrolled. The front taper of the fly line has already unloaded and delivered this tremendous energy into this stiff, heavy spot, instead of seamlessly transferring the energy of the unrolling fly line loop into the butt section of the leader. So instead of using that, what we're going to use is a snell. The snell takes just a matter of seconds to tie It doesn't require any tools of any kind. It's a superior connection to a nail knot. And I'm going to show you why in a moment. But what is required to tie the snell is what we'll call a stiffener. And I just have a little bodkin here. It can be an unstraightened paper clip.
That's what we use at the shop, is a paper clip.
It could be a piece of welding rod. It can be anything that's roughly the size of the fly line, but stiff. It could be a toothpick. All right, so you take one end of the leader and you pinch the fly line and the bodkin together, or the stiffener together, and you lay the fly line, the leader butt section right up in there and pinch it together. Then go to the other end of the butt section, get the other end of the butt section, and we're going to pinch it in there too, but going in the opposite direction. So what we've made here is just a big loop.
Yeah.
Right, and then we take this part of the butt section and we're going to make 9 turns. It gets its, actually gets its, so we take this part of the butt section and I'm going to turn 7 to 9 turns. It gets its full strength after 7 turns. You could do 9 in an abundance of caution, but 7 is probably plenty. So 1, 2, and I'm turning back toward, it's going to be some editing here. So I'm making these turns back in the direction of my fingers as they're pinching all this material together. So 4, 5, 6, 7 turns. So I just pinch it together and I pull the other end of the butt section through that snell. And that's it. That's the knot. It's done. That fast. It's actually much faster if I wasn't explaining it as I was doing it. So now that it's formed around the stiffener, I just pinch it again, the whole thing in my fingertips. And I grab this tag end of my teeth, grab the other end of the butt section, and close the knot up on the fly line. And see how small and pretty that knot is. I'm gonna actually pull that knot down real tight. And when I do that, inside that knot, you will see that the fly line itself created a curlicue. So I can pull that as hard as I want. I can't pull it off of there.
Yeah.
So now I take a trimmer and I clip it real close so that there are no tag ends whatsoever. And then I clip off the end of the fly line, again, so that there's no tag ends sticking out. I like to identify my fly lines with a Sharpie, and this is a 6-weight, so I identify a 6-weight this way. I take the Sharpie and I make one long line on the fly line with the Sharpie. And that line represents that it's a 5, and then I add a small line down here apart from the 5, so it's 5 plus 1, it's a 6.
Got it.
So when this line is 2 weeks from now, when it's out of the package and you're trying to figure out what kind of line it is, you know that it's a 6-weight.
Well, that's wildly helpful to me.
You always know also by the color, bright colors are always floating lines. Dark colors are always sinking lines.
Yeah. Well, pretty much all I use is the high-vis flip line for almost everything I do. And so having a mark like that really helps me.
So now what we have here, I don't know if you can see this. You can see that if you put these two together and bend them this way, the monofilament is a little stiffer than the fly line itself. And that's exactly what you want. Because as this fly line unrolls toward the target, there's tremendous velocity in that loop unrolling. And then it does hit that little bit of a knot, which is extra weight. You have to have a connection of some kind. But there's no flat spot there from double loop and double line in the butt section of the leader. And there's very little weight as compared to a double line loop and a loop in the butt section. I mean, it just transfers the energy of the cast itself right straight into the butt section of the leader.
Yeah.
And typically and traditionally and historically, our forefathers taught us that a proper leader was 60% butt section, 20% midsection, and 20% tippet. So I think that was fine, you know, back in the days of silk line and back in the days of horsehair and back in the days of the early fly lines that were coated with different materials and we had different cores. Now the cores are much stiffer than they used to be. And they cast much better. And the coatings are much more futuristic, and they actually contain lubricants, and they actually, so, and I remember when I first started fly fishing, to get a line to float, we had to treat it with a horrible product called mucilin. And it stuck to you in the front side of my pants were covered in mucilin. All my pants, my mother was pissed off at me all the time.
And you can't get it out,
No. Now, what makes this line float is billions of little micro balloons of glass that have air in them, and they mix those micro balloons in the batter that creates the coating on this fly line, and those micro balloons actually cause the lines to float real proud on the water and very nice. So they unroll better. New rod materials make them unroll much faster. So the velocity of this thing unrolling toward the target, when it hits the butt section of the leader, we want to conserve all that energy and carry that energy as far into the leader and through the leader and as close to the fly as we possibly can. We don't want to bleed it off early like we used to think that we needed to do. So when I build a leader like this, for whether I'm fishing here in Sweetwater on the St. Johns River or whether I'm fishing on Mosquito Lagoon for redfish with a 6-weight, which I do a lot, even a 5-weight. So now, because I can transfer the energy better this way, and because I'm using longer leaders, the fish are they're just hip now. They, you know, you used to be able to catch fish with a cigar. Much different now.
Yes.
So we used to, you know, a standard fly line leader used to be 9 feet long. That used to be like, that's the leader, 9 feet. So we would take 6 feet of butt section, and that would be our 5 or 6 feet would be our butt section, no more. Now I'm 6 feet tall, so my wingspan is about 6 feet. So here's 6 feet of butt section. Here's half my wingspan, that's another 3 feet. So I have 9 feet of butt section here.
Wow.
So instead of tapering down 3 or 4 times like we used to when we built the leader, with the thought in mind that I want to hold this energy in the leader as long as I can, as close to the fly as I can, I need mass in my leader. I don't want to bleed it off too soon.
Right.
I want to keep this mass way longer than we used to think we needed to keep it.
So there you have it, friends. Like I said, every time we spend time with Flip, it's just amazing, amazing what that man knows and the practicality of the things that he teaches. And you know, as I've said time and time again, I wouldn't be where I am today without Flip and the things that he has taught me and the ways that he has helped me in this industry. So we look forward to spending time with him again soon. So stay tuned. Be sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Hit that like button, and of course, stay tuned. We're hoping to get back down to Flip's house real soon. Like this video, hit subscribe. It helps out a lot. And check out these videos. We think you might like them too.